Welcome back, everybody. It's Daniel with FOMO Investments. I gotta think of a new tagline. I gotta stop copying. You know who he is. All right, so here we go. Motivation Monday. It's all about today working hard, but working efficiently. What? What does that mean? What does working hard and working efficiently mean? All right, so let me give you guys the Lance Armstrong analogy. So you're going up this hill, and you're riding a 6-speed bike or whatever, and on the first gear, as you know, the first gears are very difficult. It's meant really for like when you're just going down. Like you're on a straight line or something, you can go as fast as you can. The higher gears are meant when you go higher up and allows you to pedal more efficiently, and it will essentially, people that are using those gears will get up the hill faster. Many times in life, we tend to do really hard work, and we think we're doing hard work, but everything we're doing is slow. Everything we're doing is not as fast as someone else, not as well done in some cases, and we're really just not performing. And I want to share with you guys this kind of today because I thought about oftentimes, when we actually want something done, we tend to want and believe that something's going to happen, and it's not going the way we want it to be. But you always say, hey, I worked as hard as I could. I put as much effort as I could. Maybe your boss says, John, you're doing a really good job, but you're not working efficiently with your time. You're like, what are you talking about? I get there on time. I do my job. I put the hours in. I'm working my ass off. And you're not saying I'm working efficiently. I'm working as hard as I can. And then your boss is like, well, Jimbo over there is actually doing the work less time and producing similar or better results. It's more efficient. And you're thinking, you walk out the review or yearly review, whatever you're doing in your fun corporate America job, and you're thinking to yourself, what happened? What just happened? I worked so hard this year to get my 10-cent raise, and now I don't get anything. I don't understand. So something I want you guys to understand is that in life, this is unfortunate, it's true. The person that works the hardest doesn't necessarily go up in your, maybe your job or maybe, sports. You may not be the best player. It's the person generally the person that's the most efficient with their time, efficient with their, their progress, their work, whatever, to basically get to the point that someone else is, but further. So in many cases, and this is true, this is why I keep saying this to you guys, it's very important to be unafraid to actually, first off, you got to take the criticism. The criticism is basically what you're doing in this scenario is that you worked very hard. You were on time, which are all professional, great things to do. But Jimbo, in this case, drinks Diet Dr. Pepper. No, that's not it. Jimbo, in this case, basically did it more efficiently. The word efficient is something I really use a lot in many different things because it really puts an essence towards what the difference between someone successful and someone not successful in business is. Another example like Magic. Let's talk about Magic the Gathering is, what if you were, and by the way, this example is probably, you guys are going to think, well, Dan, you're knocking on other dealers. No, I'm not. I'm just showing you a difference. What if you were someone that, a dealer who's selling 25-cent bulk rares or 10-cent commons or whatever you're doing, and you're basically at the Grand Prix slaving away, have 7 employees basically grinding, buying those kind of cards, and basically the result is, let's say $30,000, $40,000 of purchases. That's a shitload of commons. That's a lot of commons and bulk, whatever. Let's assume that's the case, $40,000 of purchases. And you'll make, quite a bit of profit, let's say you make double up. Let's say you make $40,000 profit from all that work. Let's say you're a dealer that happen to be selling Alpha Black Lotus, sort of like 100,000, and then you basically buy the card for 2,000, and it took you 10 minutes to sell the card. I don't know who actually does that. I don't know who does that. Maybe that scenario is not the best, but I don't know. Maybe you guys can know someone that does that. So basically what I'm trying to show you is someone that sells one card and makes a crap load of profit in very little time. And then you have a company that has lots of people buying different variety of cards. Lots of, these are like the mega conglomerates of Magic, the Card Kingdoms, the ABU games. They have tons of work, tons of people, involved, tournaments, the yin yang. That's great. So you probably ask yourself, well, Dan, first off, not everybody can find an Alpha Lotus and then find a buyer. That's unrealistic. I mean, the real way to make money is try to sell Wizards of the Coast boxes and make a profit and create a company. I don't think so. That's obviously not the way to make money, but let's assume that you want to diversify in that spectrum. You want to sell video games, you want to sell packs, you want to sell singles, you want to make Friday Night Magic happen, you want to do Saturday Night Magic pre-releases, whatever the hell it is. Online store, and you diversify. Or you do the Grand Prix thing, right? But whatever scenario that is, the difference is you put in a lot more work, a lot more overhead, a lot more effort. The question is that really not efficient? Is it fair to say someone that sold one big item, like someone that's selling like a Ferrari, sells obviously like a $200,000 car, but someone that sells a Toyota could be, $20,000. And is it saying that, hey, look, the guy who's selling the Ferrari is smarter? And is it, can that person with the Toyota, does that necessarily mean that the person with the Toyota makes less money? It's a complex question because the reality is the end result has to happen. It's all about your end game goal. If your end game goal is to make the most money, then you need to diversify because more money but more work, you could make more money by having a big diversified business or sell Ferraris, or sell Toyotas. But what I'm trying to get at here is that in some cases, it's very important to use the efficient mind versus the, I just worked my ass off. I spent 13 hours trying to sell cars in this dealership, and I resulted in 2 sales. But this guy, John, sells 3 Ferraris a month and makes the same as me. See, the thing is, you can get down on yourself, but the reality is the Ferrari salesman probably gets different commission. Also, they also probably get, it's a different kind of sell. It's a different relationship. Let me give you this example. When you're selling to high-end net worth clients, one big luxury sale could actually be the entire month of a sale, or maybe 3 months in some cases. Depends if it's like a luxury property, whatever. In case like real estate agents, they might sell, like a $5 million property and get, 3%. That is incredible amount of commission. What is that? $1 million, you get 30,000. So basically, you basically get $90,000 commission on one $5 million sale. That's not correct, is it? No, it's more than that. Sorry, 150,000, something like that, right? So you think to yourself, whoa, I'd rather just sell the $5 million property. But the reality is $5 million properties do not sell as fast. It's a different type of clientele, and you got to build that relationship. So, in the case of efficiency, it sometimes is impossible, sometimes at a certain level, to actually be that point of your life. You can't be starting at selling modern cards or standard cards and then somehow go to high-end Power 9 dual lands and expect high-end efficiency sales, big sales, continuously. It doesn't happen that way. There is a relationship that's built. Then the question becomes, Dan, well, what is the point of the video? How do I become more efficient? How do I work my way? How do I get to that point? How do I become like Jimbo, who actually did the work in half the time and had better results? Well, in corporate America, there's a couple things you can do. Number one, instead of actually doing the work and being on time, and that's fine and dandy, actually go above and beyond and build value to your job. What I mean by that is the difference between Jimbo is that Jimbo found a way to do his job half the amount of time and also perform half and 2 times as much more. How did he do that? He produced value for himself. He either learned different ways to develop himself. He either took classes, courses. He found more efficient ways to get target leads. Let's say you're in sales, and he was able to find different leads in his sales generation. He's able to build better relationships, people that are better decision makers, ask better questions. He developed his ability to sell. In the case of like an engineering job or some kind of this more administrative job, sometimes doing it in a different way that is more efficient and quicker, maybe organizing yourself better, maybe developing a strategy where basically it helps the company make more money. Because you got to remember, when you're doing a position that is not making the company money, they don't really want to pay you more. It's true. Think about this. The people that make the most money in a company, except executives, are the salespeople. Always the salespeople. Because their cap is always uncapped. They have an ability, well, not always uncapped, but they have the ability to make more money. They have the ability to make bonuses, other company perks, expenses, company gas card, company car, whatever you want. Lots of different things. But when you're in the case of it, like let's say you're like an administrative assistant, or you're just like an accountant or something, HR or something, you are limited in your resources, limited in growth because you're not making the company's sales. And it doesn't matter how efficient you are at those kind of jobs, unless you actually develop a strategy to make the company more. For example, in HR, if you develop solutions that allowed the company to basically retain their employees more, to basically get solid wages for the company, but also get better productivity. If you did different things like that, if you're in shipping and logistics, you found ways to save the company money by negotiating freight rates. If you're able to negotiate less damages in terms of their the logistics part with different carriers, you're able to save the company millions of dollars. You could come to the table and say, hey, I want more money because I'm worth more. I provided more value to you as an employee. So that is an example of being more efficient. By showing value to your company and proving to them that they need to pay you more. Back to the scenario about starting your own business, or also back to the scenario of, let's talk about our good friend Rudy, because I have no other topics to talk about, but Rudy has a very efficient by himself business. He uses his family a little bit, but he has very little people involved. He decided not to go the route of having a card shop, having F&M, having judges, having employees, having W-9s or whatever the W it is, the 1099s, and having to deal all that stuff. He focused his shop more about where it's a warehouse storage, YouTube and collection buying, and he focused as like a studio setup. So that itself became more efficient than having, the card shop, all that kind of stuff. That also is the main reason why, in the case of actually having a card shop, it is said by him, and I've said this many times, that owning a card shop is very inefficient for your time, for the ROI, the return on investment of amount of time you put in. Therefore, you're taking more from your family. You're basically like it's almost like a restaurant. You're stuck there all the time. If someone someone calls in sick as a server or the hostess or whatever, you're always trying to back them up. You're always doing more grunt work, and it's never efficient for your time, for the time value of money. Now, You probably say, well, why did Card Kingdom, why did Star City Games, how did Channel Fireball get to the point where they did? Well, it's also market demand. Some people have, right time, right place. Keep in mind, not everybody can be Bill Gates. Not everybody can be Warren Buffett. Not everybody can be Mark Zuckerberg. You may think you can, but you probably won't. And I probably won't either. Not everybody in Magic can be Vintage Magic. Not everybody can be the guy, who sells high-end cards. Not everybody can do that because of the fact that sometimes you were there before someone else, and that's the way relationships are built. That's the way marketing and advertising and you've been in the industry for a while. You build that relationship with clients. But that doesn't mean you can't be involved. You can't do your own thing. I'm just saying that in some cases, it's very difficult to be involved in a market. Even if as efficient you want to be, there is a brick wall, there is a ceiling involved that gets to a point where you cannot pull it off. All right, guys, so tell me below what you guys do to be more efficient. How do you guys want to be more efficient? I want to hear your questions. Also, the essay contest is October 15th, the end of day. So October 16th, you're too late. Pacific Standard Time, 11:59 p.m. on October 15th. Your submissions must be done. The link is below. There are 3 great topics for you to write about, or you can write about all 3 or write about one. Some people have submitted pictures. That's great. Remember, you get one-time shot, and this is your opportunity to meet me, Rudy, in Orlando 2019 in February, or a Grand Prix that I attend to that we can coordinate later on. All right, guys, thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed the Motivation Monday. Talk to you guys soon.